Well, hello, and welcome to Stroke of Genius Podcast Survivor Experience. I'm your host, Aaron Alva. I'm starting a little early because what I'm doing today is kind of different. I am replaying a podcast, like what they call canned or pre-recorded. It's the Florida State University Speech Lab Department. They've given Stroke TV and its members, everybody within my network, an opportunity that's amazing. Speech Lab, Florida State University Speech Lab, has developed an app for people like me that have slurred speech or maybe decide, hey, what you doing? Jamie Bear from the United Kingdom. Great to see you, bro. So anyway, if you have slurred speech, doesn't matter where you're at in the world, you qualify to be a beta tester. Get paid $200 gift certificate anywhere at your local grocery store, Amazon, anywhere you want. But you have to have slurred speech. You have to be a beta tester. You have to have, it doesn't matter how slight of speech deficit you have, but you have to have some sort of speech deficit. And what I'm going to do is put in the description of the video what email to check and see if we qualify. What basically is they're going to pay our community. If you're watching this video, you may you one step closer to qualifying, but you'll need to email Haley that I'll put in the description of the video. Email her, and she'll run you through a better. You have questions that will find out if you qualify. What happens after 4 weeks beta testing? 4 weeks after beta testing the speech app that Florida State University has developed. You'll be paid $200, a gift certificate, anywhere you want. It can be your local grocery store, whatever you want, but at Amazon. But you will need to go through 4 weeks of beta testing. Basically being hired to be a beta tester for Florida State University speech app, but you must qualify. So I encourage you, if hey Jamie, I'm curious, do you have any sort of speech deficit? I don't know. Anybody that knows Jamie Paris, I'll blame people him up. He was giving me a thumb up to start the show. I look forward to it. But he is in the United Kingdom. And he's always, Jamie, you gotta be the first one always here. You do much. I appreciate you being a supporter and watch and being out there, bro. I really, really appreciate you. I'm really looking forward to meeting you someday on a video conference. So message me on, I'll message you and find out. Or put in, do me a favor and look me up on Facebook, Aaron Outline, and send me a friend request. And you and I will meet on either Facebook or here on my app, on my live stream. But Jimmy, thank you for being there, bro. I do notice you, and I appreciate you, my brother. And I want to meet you. I'm looking forward to meeting you Sunday. So anyway, we got to start the show. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later, brother. Bye, everybody. Well, good morning and welcome to Stroke of Genius Podcast Survivor Experience. I'm your host, Aaron Avila. I'm 14 years post-stroke and brain aneurysm. You know, today's show or today's podcast really kind of special because I have a student from the Florida State University who is a student at the Motor Speech Lab, and she's here to introduce what they're doing. And it's okay. I just thought yes, what she specializes in. So let's bring her on this minute. Hold on. And there she is. Hey, Courtney. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing out there? You're in Florida, right? You're in Florida.
Yes, I am. Yeah, it's
But you work for the Speech Lab at the University of Florida, right? I don't work there. You're a student. Sorry, you're a
yeah,
student.
yeah.
So introduce yourself. Tell me a little about yourself.
Yes, yeah. So I am a second year master's student studying speech language pathology, which is essentially speech therapy at Florida State University. And the lab that I'm a part of is Motor Speech Lab, and it's under the direction of Dr. Yoonjung Kim. And we work with people who have experienced many different types of neurological events, stroke, Parkinson's, ALS. But specifically, I'm here today to talk about a current project that we have going on that is looking for people who have had a stroke and now others have a hard time understanding their speech, dysarthria.
Yeah, well, just how please. I mean, I would could call myself an expert because I've now had it for 14 years. But speech, just your lab. I thank you. I can say is thank you because if it wasn't for people like you, I was totally mute and basic of not forming these words when I first had my stroke. And so when I began to go my speech lab, speech therapy, it allowed me to use certain strategies like slow down over to I get too excited and I speak too fast, smash some words, but the strategies for decide that I use slow down, let that process and over-articulate more words. That's really the two studies that really have changed my life, really. But tell me about this program, what you're working on, you guys have developed an app, correct?
Yes, yes, we have. Yeah. So, a lot of people who've experienced a stroke have dysarthria. Kind of what I've seen so far and my limited experience in the field as a student is that people may not know that they even have dysarthria. You can notice that your voice sounds different, but depending on where your stroke was in your brain, it can have so many different effects. It can affect how you sound, how you breathe, and basically just how your tongue and other muscles used for speech affect your voice. And yeah, so a lot of people who have a stroke have dysarthria, but I've realized that some people don't know. And, I wouldn't expect you to. It's not talked about enough. It definitely needs to be something that is made more aware of. And I know in the hospital immediately after the stroke, you have so many other things to worry about. Like you're just trying to survive, and it is important, but it's not talked about enough at the beginning. And so your speech can sound mumbled, soft, slurred, slow, rushed, or maybe it's a little bit higher or lower than it used to be. And all of these can have a really big impact on a person's ability to communicate. And like you said, without it communication makes life worth living. And I think that communication is a basic right for everyone, no matter what they've experienced. And so dysarthria has a really big impact on people's lives. And so that is why we have developed this app and we're currently testing it to see what needs to be improved and how effective it is in providing speech therapy to people who have had a stroke, and now they may experience different barriers to accessing that therapy. It's hard to get out of the house, you might not have anybody to take you. Speech therapy is very time consuming. If you're trying to make it to a place to have a session 4 times a week, that's not possible for everyone. So we want to make it way more accessible to people. And so the app would be what you do at home remote, and then there's a clinician on the other side who like evaluates the recordings that you put up, so that way we can offer personalized remote treatment.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, I've seen over this time I've had my stroke, I've seen this transition, the use of, like we're doing right now, you're in Florida, I'm in the West Coast, we got birds on this side, but the technology is there. It's speech, language, pathology, and treatment is so perfect for doing what we're doing right now. So I'm excited to see the app come out, and I'm excited to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm curious, how much time a day would you say it takes to do your app?
Yeah, so for part of our trial, our participants will go through a 4-week program of testing the app. So it would be 4 weeks um, daily, and it's 30 to 60 minutes a day, just depending on what you're able to give that day. And it's on your phone, and you complete the app, or you use the app, sorry, to complete the therapy at home or wherever you are. And you really just need access to a smartphone and yeah, and the app is free and it's easy to download on your phone. And then we'll be on the other side, myself and another clinician, um, evaluating kind of the person's speech and seeing what would benefit them most in treatment. So we want to test the ability to provide effective treatment to people remotely.
Wow, that is really great. I mean, that's really great, especially to the end. I think you did it. For anybody out there that's watching this podcast, how do they participate, Courtney? What do they do? What is there a website or what do they do?
Yes, yeah, we do have a link for a brief eligibility questionnaire just to see, because that's also important. I just thought of that. So people who are eligible to participate is if you're 18 years or older, of course. If you're a stroke survivor and now others have a hard time understanding your speech, if you're able to use a smartphone, we're looking for people who can read and write English. And it's not necessarily that you need to have the physical capability to write English, because it is on your phone, so you won't have to write anything. It's just where the information is being presented in English, so we want to make sure that language isn't a barrier also. And
Right, right.
yeah, and so we're also looking for people who don't have other neurological conditions like dementia or Parkinson's disease, because it's impossible to find someone who has solely dysarthria, because strokes affect so much. But we are just trying to tease out what is dysarthria, and so we want to make sure that we can test it first before including other diseases or disorders.
Right. And I want to be real clear. I know quite a you have a fascia division or fascia lab. This is not if you have fascia, and we're not trying to X out this, but this is not part of the lab testing they're doing. So if you had dysarthria, there's probably numerous other disorders, street disorders caused by stroke. But yeah, Courtney, is there a way that this app, I imagine it's revolutionary for us to be able to, for me, I can be a blessing to me because I was one of those people that probably was cut off from all therapy, all insurance within, I'd say 2 years of my stroke. I had my stroke 14 years ago. So that plateaued. These are the same people that said would never be able to speak right. I, I die. I'm just terrible. So it's great to see you. Goodness hope out there. Give us hope to do. So I'm curious, what tell us what tell people that I don't know and I have hard time saying what is dysarthria?
Yes, so dysarthria, and I have my notes. Dysarthria is a neurological motor speech disorder, and it's caused by different diseases like Parkinson's or dementia, or strokes, any attack on the brain, essentially. And it affects different parts of the brain that control our muscles needed for speaking. And so this is where the dysarthria comes in. It, like I said, it can sound slurred. It can sound, maybe you just sound a little bit breathy and you don't really experience the slurred. Maybe your voice is a little bit higher or lower than it used to be. Maybe people tell you you sound breathy, like Marilyn Monroe, type of breathiness. And see, there's so many different parts of dysarthria. It can, people can have only some of the symptoms, they can have all of them. It's a wide range because it can affect so many different parts of how we speech in the system that we use to produce speech.
Yeah, I'll probably be a better student if I did my motor strengthening, my mouth strengthening exercises. I wasn't great at that, so I picked those two strategies: slowing down, over articulating, and I do a podcast, so my podcast actually become my therapy. People that when I first started, I listened to my speech when I first started. I'm surprised people that came on my podcast have been bad. I used to smash all my words together. It was terrible. But, to see the progression, and I think you made the mention, you should have said it. Speech is really critical for life, really.
Yeah.
And it's really, really important. Now, I want everybody to tell you that if you want to sign up for this app, or look, Courtney in her lab is looking for 12 or so people to fill out the questionnaire. So we'll put a link in the description of this video to fill out the questionnaire, and I'll put you in the queue. And I'm assuming you contact us, Courtney. How do we know we're approved or not?
Yes, yeah. So part of the questionnaire, I have a place where you can put either your phone number or an email. Just make sure to give me a good way to contact you, and I will email you. And it will be from an fsu.edu email. So in case it pops up in your spam or something, it is a university email if you see it pop up. And I will make sure to have in the subject of an email speech therapy clinical trial. So you know it's from me.
Right, right. And now, so there's part of this piece sign for any of us, strugglers. Now, at the end of the session, you're going to give each participant $200 gift card, right?
Yes, at the end of the 4 weeks, people who, stick with our 4-week program, and then once they finish it, we will give them a $200 gift card, and it's to the place of your choice. It'll be Amazon or a grocery store.
To people, this look, I've been serving the stroke community for almost 10 years now. And I get these all the time, but they're not real. And they're used to like big people. I don't know. But Courtney, you know, thank you to the University of Florida for doing this for stroke survivors. Because people, I don't want you just to be motivated by the money, but come on, $200 to 4 weeks of input, and it's going to designed to improve your speech as a stroke survivor. You can't beat it. So take advantage of this. Again, I'll put the link in the description of the video, so please look it up. And now, Courtney Kerr, you're a younger person. What got you interested in the speech therapy? Without speech?
Yeah, so I actually received speech therapy between the ages of 3 to 9. I also had trouble controlling my speech systems to produce speech. I had trouble producing R's and K's, which my name is Courtney, so that's
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, it definitely had an impact on my life. So, thankfully, my mom was able to get me into speech therapy in a local place, and that's how I found out about it originally. I kind of rediscovered it in high school whenever it was coming time for me to decide what to do with my life, and I knew I wanted to do something that could help people. And then in school, once I actually started taking classes, I just fell in love with this field and how diverse it is because, I'm getting ready to graduate soon in August, and I have learned so much from birth to, adult and elderly people. So I'm very excited to be in a field where I can have, hopefully a good impact on the clients I work with.
Yeah, that you don't honey, that is amazing because we're needing more people like you and your lab that do service for people. And they actually, that's really what we're here for, to be of service to each other. And there's nothing better than, I'm kind of partial to stroke survivors, being one myself, but stroke survivors, and you and I were talking in the green room before the podcast, a lot of them are stuck. And, to have speech, and when I first started, I was mute. I was totally mute for 2 months. And then they tried to get me as a kazoo, and it didn't work very well. It was more like a dot call, a pub mouth. It didn't work great. But I had to swallow which all kinds of things. But it's great to see people helping my people. I'm a leader of a community of stroke survivors and brain injury survivors both. But of course, your lab is dedicated, does nothing but speech, correct?
Yes, yeah, and specifically for people who have a neurological condition that affects their speech.
And there, you mentioned there's stroke. You said there's dementia. What are some of the other things? What are the other diseases out there that are causing speech issues?
Yeah, so definitely stroke is a major one since, as I'm sure you're very familiar with, it's a very pressing health concern for many Americans and just across the world in general. Um, yes, some forms of dementia actually begin with you see language and speech issues are some of the beginning signs of dementia. And so that's definitely very interesting to look out for. We also have people who have Huntington's disease or ALS or MS, where their condition is, you know, progressive and it's unfortunately, you do see a gradual decline in those systems. So whenever they start noticing effect in their speech, that's where we as SLPs can come, or sorry, that's our little acronym for speech language pathologist, SLP. That's where our field comes in and being able to help people. We're not able to turn back the clock and kind of help them, regain exactly how it is, but we can give them the tools to maintain the skills they still have or retrain what they are able to do. Because like we were saying, communication is such an important part. And without access to communication, a lot of people experience isolation and, withdrawing because how can you even begin to express what you're feeling when you can't even express most things? So it's definitely something that I'm very passionate about.
That really is true. And I think maybe it kind of aligns with a bit why I find I've been, like I said earlier, I've been serving the stroke community for about 10 years now. And a lot of stroke survivors have their stroke and go recluse. They curl up the ball, they're basically waiting to die. That's very real. And then not enjoying and living life. And I would say that to anybody out there that's in that position, get all of Courtney, get all the lab, and get all this app. Participate. The app is freedom to actually break the bars, the prison bars down, because a lot of the times you feel like isolated, you feel like you're in a prison, but use this app. Using a LCP like Courtney will set you free. It can improve your life dramatically. But Cody, I just cannot. I'm going back and thinking. I can't believe you said you have speech language. You speak so perfectly. I'm just amazed. So, was this a birth? Was it from birth thing or something? Obviously, it could be cured.
Yeah, so the one that I had was a delay kind of. If you think of any like 2 or 3-year-old, they might say like whittle instead of little, or different errors in their speech that are kind of normal developmentally. The situation that I had is I just had a delay. Those speech errors that normally go away by a certain age, for some reason they just persist in different children, and we don't really know why, but going to speech therapy helps them to learn to retrain, their muscle movements for R, because it's something that I definitely take for granted now because I've been doing it for so long that I kind of don't have to think about where I put my tongue for R or how to make that come out. But yeah, so that's what I had just
So
from birth.
this IPAs are coming out. They're going to take us people like me and then help us get a good foundation of where your tongue is at, where your muscles, like so I admitted to you, there were a lot of exercises I could have done and probably wanted to doing using your app, but that strength of the muscle of my mouth and make me speak clear because I could still use improvement, no doubt. But you said you were being funded by an organization. Your lab is dedicated to helping people like me with speech. This app it will go anywhere. You always use a mobile phone. That's it, right?
Yes, yeah.
And that's pretty amazing. And then you get feedback from my clinician of some sort on your
Yes.
test.
Yeah, and we do. For participants who people who are interested, we start your participation with just doing an evaluation to see where you're at. And so that way we can figure out what targets you need and kind of like what would be beneficial for you. And you receive this evaluation of just your speech, and we also do a cognitive screener for cognition at the beginning. Um, During your 4-week program, you get evaluated at the beginning, the middle, and the end, just so that we can kind of see your progress and figure out if this app is effective and if it can help people, because that's our main goal. So we want to be able to test it and make sure that it's something that, isn't wasting people's time. It actually is helpful.
Right now, I'm excited. Honestly, honey, I'm excited because I got cut off from speech therapy a couple years after a stroke, and it was too early. Meaning, cognitively, I'm more engaged now than I was that back then. I was like a deer in headlights, my eyes all open up, like I couldn't really comprehend what was being said to me. It was bad. So I'm excited to get be involved in it myself. And I'm want to encourage everybody to be out there once again. Go in the description of this video, look at the link, fill the question, and participate in. I can't help but mention the $200 Amazon gift card. Anybody can use $200 Amazon gift card. So thank you to your lab for providing. I appreciate that.
Yes, yeah, we definitely want to make sure that people are being, they get something out of this for their time.
Now, how long have you been going? Can I ask you some questions? How long you been in your certification or your credentials? Have you been going 2, 3, 4 plus years? How long do you have to go to college to be a SLP?
Yeah, in order to be an SLP, you have to get your master's degree. So I guess including I'm currently in the last year of my master's program. So I was just doing this math the other day. If you count kindergarten, I've been in school like 18 years now. Because you have to do a bachelor's degree, which is 2, but I did mine at the university, so it included 4 because general education, and then 2 years master's program, so I'd say about 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. I want to tell you, and we'll talk later about this, but I have someone that is currently building an SLP company, a business, and hires people like you to help people. So I'm going to open it up to all your fellow students. We'll talk about this later, but you know, I think probably if there's one thing, I think if I took probably one of the things I took for granted, speech. We all take it for granted. And the old saying, you don't know what you have till you lose it. Well, I lost it. I completely lost it. And I'm very happy to be back. At least I can say words. And that part still sound like Elmer Fudd, my opinion. But yeah, I can be fun of myself. But I just really, really want to encourage everybody out there. Take advantage of this opportunity. And this is one of a kind. I've not met a person like this. The Florida State University and you, Courtney, for 10 years. I read out, even I was talking, I read out a lot of just stuff that was real that were designed to take advantage of people. It's great to see how they're doing this. But is there anything that we should prepare for this? So they put a self-guiding app, right?
It
What
is, yes.
and
Yes.
will we get any reaction from say someone like you or so when you do the evaluation? See those 3 evaluations. Will we get feedback from your people?
Yes, yes. Um, I believe with our initial evaluations, since we just moved to remote, we haven't started one yet remote. I think you'll be our first probably. And I'll be there to walk you through it. The app does give pretty clear instructions, but just in case. And I think that the app is pretty user friendly. I think we've designed it so that people who have had a stroke can use it because we want it to be user friendly and accessible.
Well, I definitely do everything I possibly can to help promote you guys, get your word out there. And like I said, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, drug lovers that watch that put eyeballs on my content. But again, a lot of them are quiet. And sometimes think speech may be part of it. They're afraid to put themselves out there. I used to be afraid to speak as I was embarrassed. I didn't like the West. So now I can joke about myself, sound like I'm fun, and it doesn't bother me. No, so I just want to encourage everybody out there. If you have a speech disorder, and that's any type of a speech, you look for people that have a speech impediment or speech disorder that make it hard for them to communicate. Really, who you're looking for, right? All right.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Courtney, we're out of time. I really want to thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Again, up all the links to your content, your website, your application, everything in the app. And I appreciate you being here, Courtney. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye, Courtney.
Bye.
Set me on fire.